Hi, everybody. Instant reaction to the Bills' win over Green Bay. You think I would be celebrating the domination of Buffalo. They got 3 or 4 ticky-tack calls that went their way. This officiating crew very early was much tougher on Green Bay than Buffalo. And I continue to have real concerns about the Bills' inability to build, throughout the course of a game, a legitimate running game. They are completely, utterly dependent on the greatness of Josh Allen. We have a defensive head coach, Sean McDermott, who's certainly capable. 5 years, no running game. Kyle Shanahan could develop that thing during an OTA. They have no run game. This is going to cost them the Super Bowl. I mean, you saw Josh Allen throw an interception at the goal line. Why aren't they running it in? Because the Bills have no consistent run game. Folks, this isn't hard. It may be a passing league. But if you're playing in bad winter weather, December, January, February, there are going to be times you have a lead and need to eat the clock against the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens. Not playing indoors. Okay, the good AFC teams are all playing outdoors. Baltimore, Cincinnati, Kansas City, Buffalo. Miami's not going to be hosting playoff games. But, boy, you can see the Cam Big Ben comp, can't you? Take a lot of shots, rely on him early, about 7 years in, doesn't quite feel the same by year 10, 11. He's a little worn out, and the age comes quickly, mid-30s. I just worry about Buffalo. Obviously, from the first minute of the game, they are bigger, they are deeper, more athletic, more skilled than the Packers. You know, that was never a question. I mean, I thought it would be more competitive in the first half. I almost felt like Buffalo's defense, the strategy after a big lead was let Green Bay run and just eat the clock. Just get off the field and don't get banged up. The Packers ended up with several injuries. The Bills didn't. But I look at this Buffalo game and I think, okay, congrats on beating Kansas City, but you're going to come back and you're going to have to face a Baltimore. They can run. You're going to have to face a Kansas City. You're going to have to face a Cincinnati. You're going to face teams that you're in shootouts with. You're going to have leads, and you're going to want to kill that clock. And Buffalo remains a little bit of an enigma, super talented, but what do they have to show for it? Obviously, they're a better team. The Green Bay story is a fascinating one. Before the season, I said, I think Green Bay is a wild card team. This morning, or right now, currently with Green Bay, think about this. They have road games remaining because Minnesota won, Green Bay lost. They're not winning the division. They're going to lose it by 3 or 4 games. Road games at Philly, loss. Road game at Miami, loss. Home games against Dallas, Rams, Vikings, and physical Tennessee, go either way games. Green Bay is really lucky they're in the NFC. But Philadelphia wins their division. Dallas and the New York Giants, especially the Cowboys with that defense, look like playoff teams. I think Green Bay is battling to the very end of the season. Maybe the LA Rams to get into the playoffs. I mean, I thought they ran the ball very well tonight. Part of it felt like after Buffalo got a lead, they just said, listen, we're not letting them get back into this game with a big play. If we have to give up 5.5 yards a carry, we trust our defense in the red zone to keep them out, force them to hit field goals. But I think Green Bay is going to go down to the last several weeks of the year looking at the Rams thinking, are we getting into the playoffs? Their schedule's tough. But the one thing I'll say about Green Bay is that the team we saw tonight, which was what a lot of Packer fans believe we should see, the 60-40 run over past Packers, nobody's winning that game in Buffalo tonight. Okay, nobody's winning that game, including the Chiefs. But that version of the Packers tonight, it's got a shot. I think they have to go back to like 1997 and be a 58, 60% run team and a 40% pass team. And I think if you ask Aaron Rodgers that privately or publicly, he agrees. Listen, all you have to do is look at the box score. Aaron is not throwing the ball. Christian Watson now has a concussion. He's not even targeting wide receivers. He's looking for tight ends and Aaron Jones. That's what he's looking for. So in a weird way, even though Aaron's a back-to-back MVP, he got the hardware. I think if you asked Aaron, he would tell you, we're a run team. And it's quite possible, when I watch the Packers, I think they run block better than pass protect up front. Offensive lines aren't even that way. Some run block, some pass protect, some do both very rarely. They run block pretty well. Pass protection, it's okay. It's not great. It's okay. So all is not lost for the Packers. The version I saw tonight, I really, really liked. Run the ball, eat the clock, throw on play action, develop relationships with the young receivers. I said it's going to be a post-Thanksgiving thing until it clicks if it does. Buffalo, yes, they're more dominant. We knew that going in. They were an 11.5-point favorite. That's a college line. But man, they don't run the ball. They just don't run block well. I don't think their running backs are awful. They just don't run it. And some of that's on the head coach. All right. San Francisco dominates the Rams. So you still worried about those draft picks for the Niners? Or you like Christian McCaffrey? Yeah, I thought so. Again, draft picks are not equal for all teams. Carolina needs draft picks. Oh, yeah. Carolina needs draft picks. Jets still need some draft picks. I can name Houston needs draft picks. San Francisco needs players and pieces and playmakers. Okay, you saw Philadelphia this week go out and get Robert Quinn. What is that telling you? Philadelphia thinks, okay, we have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. And if we go to the Super Bowl, we're facing Mahomes, we're facing Josh Allen, we're facing Joe Burrow. We need a pass rusher. Let's get Robert Quinn. Right? Chicago says, we'll take the draft pick. He's expensive, and we don't lead games late. Right? We trail games late. Philadelphia's like, we lead games late. That's what the Rams said last year with Von Miller. Von Miller for Denver last year, okay. Von Miller for the Rams, teeing off as a pass rusher as the Rams led late, it's great. So Robert Quinn to the Eagles is much better than Robert Quinn with the Bears. Christian McCaffrey with this coaching staff, I mean, folks, he's been there an hour and a half. You saw how valuable he was. I mean, that catch in the corner of the end zone was fantastic. It's interesting. The Rams, Kyle Shanahan owned Sean McVay. And, the Rams won a Super Bowl. They don't regret anything about last season. I mean, they're in a Los Angeles market. Now, you saw the stadium. SoFi Stadium was 75-25 Niner fans. They're trying to build an alliance, a fan base in Los Angeles. The Dodgers draw up over 4 million. The Lakers are popular. Now, USC's got Lincoln Riley. You've got LAFC in town. The Clippers are a draw. The Lakers. Rams are trying to figure out a way to steal some fans from all these other organizations. That Super Bowl, you got fans after that. You got attention after that. The Rams do not feel like a Super Bowl team to me, even though Van Jefferson returned, even though Brian Allen, the center, returned. It was a very even game for about 2.5, 3 quarters. But, my takeaway is when you look at what the Niners are doing, draft picks just aren't that valuable right now to the San Francisco 49ers. Because think about this, their first draft pick was going to be a late second rounder. So you're talking about like the 55th player taken. Outside of maybe center, who could the Niners draft? Late second round. Forget the late third and fourth round picks they give up. There's no starters there for this team. Who could they draft that could start? And they have the kind of roster where they can move players and recoup some draft picks after this season. Jimmy G, I thought, played really, really well. It was the kind of game for all the Jimmy G fans, I'm one of them, is that, they ask him to throw under 30 times. They ask him to make 4 or 5 difficult throws. Jimmy knows the playbook. Jimmy is accurate. Jimmy gets rid of it. And this San Francisco team with that pass rush, when they have a lead, you notice that game was really close, and then the Niners got a little comfortable lead, and then the pass rush was even filthier. McCaffrey came in town to get them leads, play with a lead with that pass rush. With that front seven, you got Pro Bowlers all over that front seven. Elite players, Hall of Fame level guys. They want leads in games. They're not as good from behind with Jimmy Garoppolo. They're a great team with a lead, with Bosa and Armstead and those linebackers. They got McCaffrey to get leads in games and play downhill. We all know professional athletes care about what they look like. And as you know, I care about what I look like. Right now, I've been wearing a lot of Cuts clothing. I love this thing right now. Every Cut shirt is designed to provide a perfectly tailored look. If you want a long sleeve Henley, no problem. A short sleeve crew neck, they've got it. Cuts has everything you want. And I've got all of it, and I wear all of it. Right now, 15% off your first order. 15% off first order by going to cutsclothing.com/Colin. Cuts, C-U-T-S. Look them up. I got a closet full of their stuff, and I love it. Let's talk Steelers-Eagles. So I've been on this thing. You've heard me on Fox Sports 1, FS1. You've heard me on iHeartRadio. I've been on something for 2 years, and it's just ad nauseum. I never stop. But I believe strongly in it. So I'm just going to keep doubling and tripling down. Is that as the league has pivoted to offense, these defensive coaches do not understand either the urgency of offense and getting the right quarterback, or they don't have an understanding or a sensibility or a soft touch with offense. So Mike Tomlin's obviously a very, very capable coach. But is it possible, as the league has moved to offense, he's less built for the current culture? So the things we love about Mike Tomlin, great energy, tremendous motivator. He is the great, for sports bettors, Mike Tomlin of the Steelers is the great underdog coach in this league. If he's an underdog, especially in division, bet the Steelers. We don't think the details are great. The Steelers have often been very big on emotion. It's been my knock on Pete Carroll. Great on emotion. Sometimes the details with Pete Seahawks or Mike's Steelers drive me nuts. They're both high energy guys, defensive guys, Super Bowl guys, a lot of experience. Sometimes the offense, they don't have a feel for it. So Kenny Pickett comes out after the loss to Philadelphia. Now, Philadelphia is built for the Super Bowl. Pittsburgh's not. So rookie quarterback Kenny Pickett says, quote, "I don't think our offense, we don't study enough." Wow. Now, Big Ben and Tomlin had their issues, a lot of passive-aggressive stuff. For Kenny Pickett to say that is something. So just like Sean McDermott, Mike Tomlin has had this Steeler offensive line. It's been in flux, below average for now 4 or 5 years. You can't fix it. I mean, the defense is fine. You can fix the pass rush. Go out and spend money on Minka Fitzpatrick. They have no run game. They draft well. They develop well. But some of this falls on Mike Tomlin. Big Ben had issues with Tomlin and some details and some coaching. You know, this is what worries me. I'll say it about Sean McDermott. I think Sean's a really good coach. How many years does Sean McDermott get to build a running game? It's half a decade. I mean, Josh Allen as your running game is not going to win a Super Bowl. Haven't we all been on this for 2 to 3 years? We all think Buffalo's the most talented team in the league. They have nothing to show for it. Cincinnati got to a Super Bowl and was a player 2 away from winning because they had Joe Mixon. Zach Taylor, their offensive coach, built a running game. So it's pretty alarming if you're a Steeler fan with Kenny Pickett coming out and saying that. For a quarterback of a defensive coach to say that when they can't get the offensive coordinator or offensive line right is absolutely and fairly alarming. It has to be, right? All right, fun Sunday. I'm not sure who the best team in the league is. I know I'm supposed to love the Bills after this performance. And maybe it's because my standard for the Bills now is so high. But come on. You got to be able to run the football. Remember, we're about 3 weeks away from the wind and the cold in Buffalo. And they're going to host playoff games. Buffalo's going to host playoff games. Okay, you're going to need that run game. You're going to play a playoff game at 35-mile-an-hour winds. Going to need a run game. Kansas City will have one. I presume Baltimore will have one. Miami, I think if they had to play up there, would have one. Because Buffalo's going to host these playoff games. And no indoor stadium. So if Buffalo doesn't make the Super Bowl, that's on this staff. Josh Allen can't be a run game at this point. 4 or 5 years in, can't be a run game. Inexcusable. I'll see you in FS1 tomorrow. Premier Radio. That was fun. Sunday night. You know what? This is Club Soda. Clear eyes for our immediate reactions. Clear eyes for this stuff. Don't mess around. See you tomorrow.